All right, so we're gonna replace the fitting. We're actually gonna add a fitting in here so I can relocate the oil pressure switch and add an oil pressure sending unit. All right, so now we've got the pressure sending unit attached on the same circuit as our pressure switch. So with that, I'll connect that wire over to my new oil pressure gauge, and we'll be able to read oil pressure while we're riding. So I want to read oil temperature on the MR1. So I have an idea where I'm going to drill into the top of the dipstick, right? And I'm going to run a thermocouple down the dipstick and permanently install this so that I can then run that to the glove compartment and put a reader in there. I can read 2 channels on this and see how the oil temperature relates to oil pressure. So I just drilled a small hole through here, and I can run a wire through here. I'm going to measure to the underside of the lid here. That's about 8 inches, 8 1/4. So I'm going to see how deep it is inside the reservoir. So that right there, I've got 10 1/4. So when I put this in, I'm going to measure. I got oil all over my tape measure. I'm going to measure about 10 1/4 and put this RTD, this thermocouple, down deep enough, 10 1/4, so I reach below where the dipstick goes. So I am putting this thermocouple into my glove box so I can access it. And I'm coming up between my glove box and some holes in the side of the hull. And I'm gonna run this wire over into my dipstick location so that I can take the dipstick out, I can put it back in, but I'm gonna be able to read oil temperature. All right, so now that I'm wired into the glove box, I'm gonna pull the thermocouple down and I'm gonna attach with zip ties, and I'm gonna leave about 2 inches remaining on the thermocouple so I can read the bottom of the tank. I might do like 1 inch, that way it doesn't have an ability to kind of flop around in there. All right, so there's a thermocouple. I've got a zip tie at the top. I have a zip tie just above the bottom low mark, the ridge. And I settled on 1.5 inches, so that'll get me down below where the oil should be running. And I can measure that oil temperature. So now I just plug in to my thermocouple, power up, and I'm running on T1. I can see that I have 87-degree oil temperature. Let's try it. So I got my oil pressure gauge, now my temperature. So again, this is a 2 meter length, so 6 feet. Just barely did it. If I could have had a little bit more, I would have gone that route. I'm probably not going to tie this down. I might secure it up in here because I want to be able to take out the dipstick with no issues. But the hole that I drilled is actually a really good fit for the wire. I don't even think I need to put RTV or anything on that. We'll see how it works. So with that temperature sensor, I'm reading down into the oil level on the MR1, and we're going to do some testing here to see what the relationship is to temperature, the cooling system, and my new oil pressure sending unit.